What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 9 of my Tottenham Hotspur Let's Play here in Football Manager 2017. And today we have a massive live con doubleheader. We're going to be opening things up with a game against Lyon in the Champions League first knockout round, second leg. And following on from that, it's going to be an FA Cup tie at home against Liverpool. So hoping for two good results here. Of course, going to be kicking it off with this game from Wembley. If you missed last episode, as always, go check it out. It was a game against Southampton. Since then, just the one game to tell you guys about against a team struggling right at the foot of the table, Hull City. And, well, we gave them a little bit of a gift here, losing 2-1 in a game that we absolutely dominated in the end. A Robert Snodgrass 90th minute free kick, the winning goal in this game, and it saw Hull City climb above Chelsea in the table. I'm still looking at Chelsea perplexed as to how what's happened to them has happened. There's 10 games left of the season. They're 19th. I've never seen anything like it in FM. It would be absolute madness. It'd be like doing the reverse Leicester if they were to go down. But no, today we aren't focusing on the Premier League. It's not our kind of area of interest today. It's the Champions League. And well, just to kind of recap what happened in the first leg against Lyon. We, of course, took them on and we drew 1-1. It was a Dele Alli goal, which was the difference maker. It was a game that they were the better team in, I think it's fair to say, and we were pretty fortuitous. So I'm hoping that today we can give a much improved performance. In terms of our team for today's game, no new injuries to speak of, which is always good. You can see here I've been resting the team since the last game. We are, of course, going to bring in a few of the players who didn't start that last game against Hull because I have to hold my hands up and admit I did play a rotated team thinking the result was going to be easier than it actually transpired to be. And, well, as a result of that, we do have a few players who are going to be fully fit for today's game, which is always good. But it does come at the cost of course, missing out on that potential win against Hull. So anyway, looking at our team, I think this is the squad we're going to line up with. We're going to play Dembele down the centre. He's been playing very well in this centre attacking mid-role. Elsewhere, Wanyama is going to start, although Eric Dyer is lacking match fitness. I think it's probably worth now having him on the bench. He's been a very good player for us. He deserves a chance to play there. Looking at the rest of our bench, we've got a few options. We've got the likes of Berahino, Janssen, Correa, Heung-min, or Sun rather, Sissoko, Davis. Part of me is tempted to drop Correa and bring in fact, another centre mid. I think we're going to do that. I'm going to have Thiago Maia as an option there, just in case. But other than that, very, very happy with the team. I did notice one or two people comment on the fact I don't have a goalkeeper on the bench when I play Football Manager. Personal preference, I don't feel like injuries are that common in FM for goalkeepers. It's a risk that I'm willing to take. I think it's backfired on me once in the last 2 years of playing the game where I've had a keeper get an injury, which meant they've had to be taken off. So yeah, we're going to kind of YOLO it today. Anyway, in the first leg, we drew 1-1. We got an important away goal. Today, we go to Wembley with a little bit of expectation on our shoulders, and we do need to give a good performance today. Looking at this Lyon side, they've got Lacazette up front. Of course, the Frenchman had a fantastic season last year, was linked with a number of clubs throughout Europe, decided to stay at them as he has done in this save. He looks like a very good player up front. Fekir was impressive last time we met in the first leg, 23 years old, another very talented young French player in this side. Valbuena actually out on the other wing as well. So there's a big mix of young and old players here, but some real French talents and players we're going to have to be aware of. In goal, they've got Lopez here, who is a good player as well, and Nkulu and Yang Mbouya in the middle are two very good centre-backs as well. It's a solid team. It's a team that we can't afford to underestimate, and after the 1-1 draw, I feel like we know that what they're capable of now, and well, we now need to try and do better than we did last time. To be honest, last game against them, it was mightily disappointing. The 1-1 draw was fortunate. We could have very easily lost that game. It wasn't, except for the fact that Dele Alli scored an absolute screamer, that we even managed to stay in this game. But anyway, we'll see how we get on here. It's going to be a big game for us, but I'm hoping we can give a good performance. Of course, away goals in our favour, so 0-0 would see us go through. But really, we have to score in this game. We're probably going to have to score a few. But I do feel like if we can put our recent form behind us, of course, the defeat against Hull and before that, the humiliating 4-0 defeat against Southampton, we can do very well here. So that's going to be the I guess, way we set out for this game. Looking at it early on, we are having slightly more of the possession, perhaps to be expected being the home side. And in fact, we are going to have a chance here. Danilo down the right side crosses it in. He doesn't cross, in fact, he shoots. Keeper parries it. I don't know if he sliced his cross there. I think that may well have been what it was. It was a half chance, really. The keeper, fortunate, I guess, to scramble it away in some ways. And, well, I don't think many people would have put their money on Danilo to be the player having the first meaningful highlight in this game. The right-back caught quite high up the pitch from that set-piece that Eriksen took. Unfortunately, the ball into the box just a little bit lacking. But 25 minutes gone now, very much the same pattern of play. We are edging possession. They've actually had slightly more in the way of half chances, but we yet to see a highlight go out their way. We've had more shots, but they've been a little bit speculative and not amounted to much. And really, it's just a case of sitting down here and seeing how this game progresses. Yang Mbia picking up a booking. Worth noting that I feel like if a centre-back gets booked in the first half, it allows them to perhaps get a little bit worried about putting in a tackle. It leaves them, on thin ice for the remainder of the game. And Jordan Ferry as well, their centre mid, also getting a booking. That said, set piece for them. It's crossed in. Ferry, the booked player, has a shot. It's saved by Lloris, but it falls mercifully to his countryman in Lacazette, who smashes it home, and it's the French international striker against the international goalkeeper. Disappointing defending from the set piece there, but unfortunately for us, it finds its way into that bottom corner. I just don't think Lloris could quite react quick enough. Was really looking at a defender to bail him out here. Valbuena with the ball in. Cleared away. Ferry has this shot. Lloris, nice little stop to be fair, but Lacazette smashes it straight through Lloris. Can't get back down to the second shot. And, well, we have some work to do now. We are a goal down, but we do have a corner here. Ball whipped in. Vertonghen at the near post, can't deal with it. Dele Alli at the edge of the box. Vertonghen heads it back across. And, well, mercifully, it's going to roll well wide of the mark. And, well, the chance has gone there for us. A disappointing effort. Not sure why we got shown that. I guess the game considered it a clear-cut chance for Vertonghen. Unfortunately for us, however, he couldn't slot it away. And ultimately, at half-time here, we have work to do. Now, the Champions League, if I'm honest, I don't want to say the Champions League isn't my aim this year, but I feel like when I started the season, my big aim was to do as well as we could in the Premier League and just ensure we finish top four again for the Champions League. Eriksen now picking up an injury is very, very bad news for us because he is one of our key players. He's going to be a big miss for us. We're going to have to make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Son and move Lamela over to the other side. Looking at our team as a whole, the ratings, they're a little bit underwhelming. It's not been the best kind of half of football, really. I just realised something that is really stupid, and that's the fact that I was experimenting with a ball-winning midfielder on Wanyama last game. Forgot to change it back to a centre-mid on defend, so I'm going to change that back now. I don't feel like that had too much of a bearing, actually, looking at the stats. Wanyama, best player on the pitch, playing ball-winning midfielder on support. That said, we're on the attack here. Dembele coming forward. Can he find a shot? Crosses it. Lamela's got to score that, the Argentine, with a sitter less than a yard out. And, well, that's disappointing. The reason I've switched Wanyama back to a centre mid on defend is just because I know it works better than the ball-winning midfielder, although he was playing well in that other role. Maybe I should have played a ball-winning midfielder. I'm still kind of tinkering with the tactics I have been throughout. I still feel like the tactical that we have is as good as it gets. For the system I want to play, I feel like sometimes you can end up making too many changes and kind of breaking what's working for you. Anyway, we've got to make some changes here. I'm going to move Son out onto the left-hand side as an inside forward. And then I'm going to bring on Berahino actually for Lamela, who has not had the greatest game. And Lamela, he's going to come off, and we're going to play Berahino as an inside forward on attack, I think. And I think we'll also move Son onto an inside forward on attack. And then we're going to change Dele Alli to an advanced playmaker on support. I will just quickly show you how that looks on the tactical view, just so you can kind of see it a little bit clearer. So our wide midfielders are going to push on a little bit. Dele Alli also going to be playing slightly higher up. Wanyama going to have to try and hold the fort in the middle on his own. But we're chasing a goal with 25 minutes left. We can't really afford to stick with stuff the same for too much longer. We've got to try and make something happen here. And with 20 minutes left, we've used two of our subs. I don't really want to use our last too soon, but it is getting towards the point where I've certainly got to consider it. Harry Kane really not had the greatest game so far. Let's just do a quick aggressive team talk, asking the players to show some passion in the last 15 minutes here. Looking at the stats as a whole, we've been the better team. We've had more shots, they've just not been good enough. The end product's not been great. And I think I'm actually going to make the very bold move and take off Harry Kane and bring on Janssen for him, which is a little bit of a risk, obviously taking off the goal scorer, or top goal scorer in our team. But Janssen, a good player. We're desperate for a goal. We've got a set piece. Berahino whips it in. Back post, Alderweireld. Son hits it. Vertonghen smashes it in. It's 1-1. This game may well be going to extra time if it stays like this. A nice goal by Jan Vertonghen, the Belgian. finds the bottom corner. It was Berahino with the initial ball in. I think it was Alderweireld. It was challenging for the ball. Son with a deflected shot, and Vertonghen just lashes it in on that left foot of his, on the volley, finds the back of the net, and we've rolled the dice a little bit and we've come up trumps, and we're on the attack again here. Son crosses it in. It's hit the woodwork. Almost an own goal going against them there. We're going to change the system just a little bit. I'm going to move Dembele onto support, but I quite like what I'm seeing from us on attack. With the more attacking roles in the midfield. Unfortunately, it's going to go to extra time this game. I'm going to tell the players that I'm not happy with their performance. And, now we need to step things up. It goes into extra time, squeaky bum time, as I like to refer to it affectionately as. We need to step up our game because really, it's not been that great, and we have 30 minutes to try and show our dominance as we have done statistically in this game, if nothing else. It's been a game that we've had a lot more shots in. We've hit the woodwork 3 times. We've had more clear-cut chances, slightly fewer half chances to be fair, but I feel like we probably deserve to be ahead. And there's 20 minutes left now of extra time. It remains at 1-1, and now Valbuena with a set piece. Berahino, the sub, clears it only as far as Kalulu, who lays it off to Morel. Going to be looking for options in the middle. Lloris collects it nicely. Now can we look to build here? Can we try and craft out an opportunity of our own? Tiring legs definitely going to be a factor here. And we have Berahino and Son on either wing. 2 very, very pacey players who I'm hoping can punish these French tiring legs in the midfield and certainly defensively. But it is them with the ball. Vertonghen, the goal scorer, commits a foul. He's going to be off. It's a red card. We are down to 10 men for the last 20 minutes. That is not what we wanted to see. And I feel like at this point, I have to suddenly play way, way more conservatively if we want to get anything from this game. So I'm going to switch Berahino and Son to be kind of midfielders, wide midfielders. We're going to change our fullbacks to defend. Wanyama is going to have to play centre-back for us. He's on a booking himself, so that's probably a little bit risky. But needs must at this point. We need to play structured, sit slightly deeper, don't play the ball out of defence. We've got to be more direct. We won't close down too much, but we'll play on balanced width. Waste time whenever we can. We've got a game to try and kill here for the remaining 20 minutes. Down a man. It's been a problem that we had earlier on in the season. Not so much recently, really, red cards. But it's reared its head again, that problem. And, we need to step up. We go into the second half of extra time here. 15 minutes left to hold on. Janssen going to be doing a tricky job for us, actually, up top on his own. Berahino and Son are playing as wide attacking midfielders. I should probably, to be honest, play more narrow with them because they are playing so wide on the pitch, and we probably need them to tuck in a little bit. Either way, time ticking away here, looking like this may well go to penalties, and in fact it is going to. So this is a big, big game for us right now. In terms of penalty takers, we actually have some okay ones, so that's something. We've got the likes of Berahino, Son, Dele Alli's a good penalty taker, Moussa Dembele's not bad, Demilo can take them. Yeah, I don't feel too bad about this penalty setup, to be honest. We will go with that. Janssen going to take the opening penalty. Of course, Harry Kane not on the pitch for us. Dada going to open it up for them. And it's a save by Hugo Lloris. What a start to the penalty shootout for us. I feel like we should switch to the close camera for penalties. I feel like that adds to the tension. We don't need the stats anymore either. Janssen steps up. He sends the keeper the wrong way. Puts it into the bottom corner. It's a good start. We find ourselves a goal to the good in the penalties. Now with Valbuena, the Frenchman, steps up. Lloris goes the right way but can't pass it round the post. And now the pressure is back on us, of course. I always feel like in penalty shootouts, being the team who take the first penalty is a benefit. You really get to turn the screw on the opposition, unless, of course, you miss your opening penalty like, they did here. And, they've missed another one, Jale, with the miss there. And now Son with a chance to really put us in the driving seat. Smashes it into the bottom corner. Fantastic finish by the Korean international. And despite the keeper going the right way, had no chance to get there. Gonalons now has to score, and he misses it. And that is game over there. We only had to score 3 penalties. They missed 3 out of 4. Wanyama with a man-of-the-match performance. What a performance that was by the entire team. I am very happy with what I've just seen from this team. Lacazette's goal pegged back by Jan Vertonghen, who was sent off. But his sending off wasn't in vain. We held out with 10 men for the last 20 minutes, and that goal sees us go through, and we will be marching on into the next Champions League rounds, which will be the quarter-final. That was not convincing at all, but we have done it. I don't know who we're going to be playing then, but that's going to be a big, big game for us. Right, next game is going to be against Liverpool. I said I was going to do this episode. I'm going to still, but I am going to cut out the time in between then and now. I thought this game was going to be a little bit shorter than it's turned out to be. I need to get a drink. I need to regroup. Those penalties have shredded my nerves. Hopefully you'll stick around. We have an FA Cup 6th round coming right your way in just a second. Okay guys, so we are back here for the second game of today's episode. It's going to be against Liverpool. Going to be a slightly longer episode as a result of the extra time and penalties. Since the last game, we did some regen hunting. I recorded a football podcast, which I feel like most people know about it. But if you don't, I do record and do a football podcast. It's called For the Fans. You can Google it. If I forget, I probably will. Someone remind me to leave it in the comments for you guys. Maybe go check it out if you are looking for some Premier League chat. And yeah, it's usually a pretty good time. But today, as I said, Liverpool is the focus of our attention. And well, Regen Day has come and gone. And I didn't really talk about it because I didn't realise it was coming up. It actually happened the day of the game that we had in the Champions League. The players indicated with the kind of green name are players who we have recently kind of had obviously come through as a result of the intake. The big player, really, Larry Adisa, this guy looks very good. Nigerian striker. Dribbling and first touch aren't the best, but for a 16-year-old, some good potential. Looks like he could be a fairly good player for us maybe in the future. Definitely a player to keep an eye out on. One thing that's worth noting, at least in the FM17 beta as I play this, is the fact that regen sniping very much is a thing. I've done videos on this for a number of years, kind of years ago now, talking about how I find regens, which if you don't know are players that are generated by the game in order to maintain the player count of the game. They spawn for each nation and for each league at a different time every year, around the same period of time, but each league has a different time. For example, in the Premier League, as you can see here, it's in March. These are, as I said, 16-year-old and 15-year-olds who generate to kind of maintain the player numbers. In recent years, it's been a lot harder to sign them when they first generate, particularly from other Premier League sides. However, at least in the FM17 beta, it's a lot easier. So when you do get that news item about the fact that intakes are happening, I believe it's on the 7th of March in the first season, it's worth noting that you can go to most 16-year-olds with the EFIT faces and actually approach to sign them. Some players just won't be interested in talking to you. It's worth unticking realistic transfers. But if we just look at my transfers in, there's quite a few players here that I'm looking to potentially pick up. It's worth noting you do have to pay compensation on them. In terms of our financial fair play, we're still set to fail it. I had £11 million in transfer budget remaining, so I kind of went with the attitude of, well, we're going to either fail it and not spend the transfer budget that's remaining, or spend the transfer budget that's remaining and fail it anyway, or the board will bail us out either way. So that's kind of the attitude I've had. But we have picked up some fairly good players. I'm still in the process of scouting a fair few of them. But just to highlight a few players we've picked up, Simon Thompson is joining us in the not too distant future. 15 years old, a very good English striker, 18 determination, 16 work rate, a good teamwork as well at 16. Physicals are very good. He's a nice little player. There's a few here. Some of them are still pending. Nathan Green is a deal that will go through. I delayed the contract negotiations because of the fact that I didn't have him fully scouted to see his potential, but as you can see, very, very good potential for the future. As to whether or not this will be changed in the full game, it may well be. As I said, it used to be like this, that you could sign a lot of Premier League kind of youngsters who appeared, but in recent years that has been changed. That said, I'm going to hold off doing a video about how to find the best regens until the full game is out, just because it may well change. But if you'd like to see a video kind of talking about all my various techniques, how I go about finding some of the best young players in my game, feel free to let me know down in the comments, and it's something that will, if people are interested, very much be on my to-do list. But anyway, let's focus on today's game against Liverpool. A little bit of injury news. As we know, Christian Eriksen went off in the Champions League round of 16. He's got strained knee ligaments, out for 5 to 6 weeks. A heartbreaking injury, really. And well, my misery was further compounded by the fact that Eric Dyer, who'd returned from his dislocated shoulder, has strained his knee ligaments as well, and he is out for 5 to 6 weeks also. So that's a real shame, of course. Eric Dyer had been out injured for a month or two with his shoulder injury, so it's kind of something that we're used to, the fact that he's not fully fit. But obviously, to have him injured again is a bit of a kick in the balls, if I'm honest. Anyway, looking at our team, we're going to be playing the 4-2-3-1 with the centre mid on defend, not ball-winning midfielder today. Hopefully, we can give a lot better performance. As a result of the injury, we are going to bring in Correa to play out on the left-hand side as an advanced playmaker on support. It's a role he can very much play. And he was brought in really to be our replacement for Eriksen should a situation such as this arise. So I'm hoping he can really step up to the occasion. He's not been too fantastic for us, the young Argentine, when we've called upon him. But today in the FA Cup, we certainly need a big performance from him. So this is at home, it is at White Hart Lane. Team is pretty much match fit. We've not had too much recovery time, however. It's been, I think, 4 or 5 days since that Champions League game, which of course did go all the way to penalties. That did take just a little bit out of our players, but fortunately for us, they are back and raring to go for today's game. And hopefully we can just bounce back from what's been a turbulent period, really, when you consider the fact we lost to both Southampton and Hull. And then in today's game, of course, earlier on, we struggled just a little bit against Lyon. It would be nice to bounce back and give a much improved performance today. So that's what we're really going to be aiming for. Hopefully we can step up to the occasion. Liverpool playing a 4-3-2-1. It's the same system I do believe they played against us last time we met. So I'm hoping that we can obviously do the double over them, because we did beat them earlier on in the season in the league. This game in the Cup, I do still believe we have to play them at home as well. Let's change to the 2D camera. But look at that beautiful stadium. It doesn't look like White Hart Lane. Maybe one day we'll have that in Football Manager. I do really like the cinematic 3Ds now, though, that they've added in. I think they're a nice little touch. So anyway, let's get into this game. Early stages, it's the FA Cup. The minimum expectation for the board is to reach the semi-finals of this competition. So there definitely is a little bit, certainly, of expectation on our shoulders to win here. Although I feel like, given the fact we are playing Liverpool, given the fact we are still in the Champions League, we are on a nice little cup run there, the board might, hopefully, touch wood, be a little bit more understanding if we were to falter in this game. Certainly not to say that I want us to falter or expect us to falter, but it is going to be tricky, particularly with the absence of Eriksen, particularly with just the flurry of fixtures we've had. Although we are on the attack here. Harry Kane beats his man. What a goal that could have been. It went inches wide of the post ultimately. Let's make sure we get the stats back up as well, because we got rid of them for the penalty. So we'll bring them back. As you can see, we are having a little bit more of the ball, but really only a few half chances falling our way early on in this game. 15 minutes gone, but the ball given to Correa there. Can he now capitalise? He cuts inside. Dembele with it. Now Son. Dele Alli to Danilo on the overlap. Can he pull it back? He doesn't need to. Alberto Moreno with what is, I want to say, a shocking foul, but it's Moreno. As a Liverpool fan, this guy is a walking penalty machine, and he's given us another one here. It's going to be down to Jan Vertonghen, the centre-back, to hopefully finish it. He's, of course, a very good penalty taker. Got sent off in that Champions League game, so didn't have to take one, but that is why he's our penalty taker. He scores again. 3rd goal of the season for him. We find ourselves 1 goal up. Little bit of a gift, really. Thank you, Moreno, for the foul that you did. And, well, the Belgium centre-back in Vertonghen slots it home on his left peg. Keeper went the right way. I think it's Karius in goal for Liverpool. But unfortunately for him, couldn't get an outstretched arm due to the power that penalty was hit with. So far, so good. As I said, it'd be nice to win both games in this episode because of the rough run of form that we've had. But it is going to be tricky. And, well, Lallana bringing the ball forward. Now with Grujic. And now with Diego on the overlap on the right-hand side. Whips in. Alderweireld deals with it, but only as far as Berg. Looks like Liverpool aren't necessarily playing their strongest team. They've got a few players who I don't recognise, so I guess they're new signings. But there's certainly a few perhaps players who may well be considered notable absences, I guess you could say. They are on the attack here, however. Coutinho, Firmino in the centre, Lallana at the back post. Those players, not surprise inclusions in today's side. 2 very good players, Lallana and Coutinho, linking up there. And, well, Liverpool peg us back. Nice build-up play by them here. Great through ball. Poor defending on our behalf, really. Needed to intercept the cross if we could. The ball straight to Lallana's feet. A nicely weighted pass. I think that's Ben Davies at left back. It is. Not really tracking Lallana back too well. But maybe we can fight back immediately. Or maybe we can't, as the corner lands straight in Karius' hands. And, well, it's now going to be Liverpool with possession, kicking it for Danilo. Can he win it in the air? He can. Well played by him. Hopefully our right back and centre back can get their positioning sorted out. But don't sort yourself out when Firmino's through on goal like that. So one thing I've noticed in the beta is that on corners, when your fullbacks stay back, when the centre backs come back to kind of get their shape, it's fantastic. You know, the fact that the fullbacks stay in the middle, the centre backs will kind of sit out wide and try and fill those wider areas. But you could see then, I think it was Alderweireld and Danilo decided they were going to swap back to their normal positions whilst the ball was still in play and still in our half, which is a little bit questionable. Either way, Lamela gives the ball away to Moreno there, who now gives it up to Firmino, who's going to be dribbling inside. Nice tackle, though, by Alderweireld. Only as far as Lissandro, although the ball kicked straight at Harry Kane, it almost fell very fortuitously to him. Karius did deal with the ball there, so we need to be wary. Liverpool, of course, already scored 2 in this game. They've got some very good players going forward. And they are going to be coming forward with the ball again here. Coutinho down the left-hand side. Firmino been given room to run into, and, well, Lloris looks like he's had an absolute nightmare there. He tucks it home, and, well, it's another assist for Coutinho, I believe his second of the game. I don't really want to look at how this went in here, because I think it's gone straight through Lloris. He comes out, makes himself big, the ball kicked down the middle, and Lloris, I want to say he's like fluffed at it. He has. The ball has gone through him, I think. But either way, it's important to remember, I guess, that some people get annoyed at FM perhaps with some of the mistakes defenders and goalkeepers and stuff make. The way I see it is the AI goalkeepers and defenders make the exact same mistake. So to complain about it one way but not the other when it's in your favour is a little bit silly, really. And ultimately, the 3D match engine is only a rendering of what the 2D match engine sees. Ultimately, the actual match engine itself is what is happening. The 3D is literally an interpretation of it. So when a ball goes through a player, it doesn't actually mean the ball's gone through the player. It just means it's gone through the player in the eyes of the 3D match engine, which isn't always accurate. I accidentally told the players I was happy with that. That was a mistake. I've now confused everyone. Should we just move on from this? 3-1 down at home. We need to step up in the second half. We had a good start to the game as well, but that's long gone. Harry Kane not having the greatest game. No one really in the attacking third for us has had a good game. I feel like we should perhaps make just some very reactionary changes here. I'm gonna give us 15 minutes, however. Dembele gets booked. Not an ideal start to the second half. 2 goals down. We need to change something. In the attacking third, we've been very poor. Harry Kane on a 6.4. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to give Janssen a chance to shine. The Dutch striker, when we've called upon him, he's got goals for us. He's always performed quite well, but, well, it's been very rare that I've given him really much time to have an impact on a game. But we're going to give him 40 minutes here to try and make something happen, the number 9. And, well, we're going to be coming forward with the ball here. Correa trying to get on the end of the ball. It was taken away, but Dele Alli wins it. Now with Lamela. He's dispossessed by Emre Can, but Son cutting inside, lays it off to Janssen, who lays it to Correa, and that's a lovely little goal. And Janssen immediately getting involved in the play gives the opportunity to Angel Correa, a player who I mentioned hasn't played that well this season on loan, but he's got a nice goal there, and we need him to come into form because without Eriksen, there's going to be a lot of pressure on his shoulders really to make a big difference for us. And, well, him getting a goal there early on in the second half is a good galvanising factor that will hopefully inspire the rest of the team going forward. Son and Eric Lamela still struggling a little bit. I'm going to make my second change here. I'm going to take off Son and I'm going to bring on Berahino to play out on the right-hand side as an inside forward, a role that he can very much accomplish. And I'm hoping that the young English striker can have an impact for us. We're on the attack again. Correa tackled away, though, by Diego. Now with Wijnaldum, and, well, Liverpool with a lot of players forward here on the attack. We've been hit on the counter, but that poor pass is something we can capitalise on. Janssen, can he win the ball in the air? He can. He knocks it down. Lamela, unfortunately, can't latch onto the open ball, and it's now Liverpool bringing the ball forward again. Lots of end-to-end play here. Danilo, fantastic little tackle by him. But, well, Liverpool still retaining possession of the ball. And, well, they're kind of working an opportunity here as they are moving down this right-hand side. Lallana now lays it back to Wijnaldum, who's going to run into the space that's been vacated. May look for an option in the centre. Finds Lucas, who passes it to Lamela. Lloris with the save. Good little stop there. That was a good opportunity for Liverpool, which they didn't take. I'm going to tell the players to show some passion just with a touchline team talk. Of course, if we were to draw this, it would go to a second leg away from home at Anfield, which wouldn't be ideal. But, you know, it'd be better than going out at this stage. Although, without being too dismissive, the FA Cup for me is not the be-all or end-all. I want to win the Premier League this year. That said, it'd be quite nice to go as far as we can in this competition, and we might have a chance here. The ball coming forward. Lamela lays it out wide. Davis now. Can he whip in a ball? He crosses it. Dele Alli, edge of the box, cracks it, hits the woodwork, and it goes. It's cleared away. Oh my gosh. I mean, Dele Alli, what a shot that was by him. Cracked the crossbar or the post there. Unfortunately, didn't fall to one of our men, and that may well be the last chance we get in this game. Looking at the stats, an incredibly close game, very 50-50. I think it's fair to say we came alive in the latter stages of it, but unfortunately, too little, too late. The woodwork denying us what would have been a late equaliser, and, well, that is going to be the end of our FA Cup run here. A real mixed bag of results, and that's very much been the story of kind of the last few months for us, really. March and February have been a month of mixed results. We get defeated in the FA Cup 6th round. Obviously, the board aren't going to be too happy about that, but it could have been a lot kind of easier fixture, I guess, for us in that round. And I feel like, although we got knocked out, they'll probably be quite understanding of the fact that we got knocked out against Liverpool. Yeah, they can. You can see here they understand why the team was knocked out, which is fair enough. In the Champions League, of course, We've reached the quarterfinals, which is above the expectations. I think that is one of the more important trophies, perhaps, as far as our staff are concerned. So looking at the Premier League table, how things are shaping up here, all very tight at the bottom. Worth noting, Chelsea still down there. I feel like that's the story that I'm interested in down there. Looking at ourselves, we are 3 points ahead of Watford. Man City have played a game extra, who are also 3 points clear of. Looking at the top of the table, there is, of course, ourselves, Sunderland, Man United and Southampton separated by 2 points with 10 games left. In terms of when we'll be back, I feel like I absolutely have to do the game against Manchester United, so I guess that is when we will be back. And then following on from that, we do have the Champions League quarter-final to potentially look forward to. So plenty of big games coming your way over the next kind of few weeks, really, as far as we're concerned in game. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's episode. However, appreciate it was a longer one given the fact that we did have this game as well as the Champions League. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like button. Hopefully we can put this bad form behind us, but we've not got a lot of time to do it. We've got a big game coming up against Manchester United, which may well shift the title race one way or another. Hopefully I see you guys for that one. It is me, Jack, and other than that, I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.